if you're going for a promotion from PC to Sergeant in the Police Service of Northern Ireland, you have got just 20 minutes that's going to make the difference in your career, whether you advance and get the stripes or whether it's back to the beginning, back to start, and you're at PC and you've got to start the whole process again. Yes, if you're watching this and you're not part of PSNI, if you're going for a promotion in the Police Service of Northern Ireland and you fail your board, you've got to do the exam all over again. It's not like valid for 5 years. You've got to do it again, and you've got to put yourself in the process again. And it could be years before the next promotion process because it was several years since the last one. This is going to be competitive. Actually, the force calls it that. The force calls it a competition, and it actually is a competition. You're in competition with all of your colleagues, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the 4 questions that I believe you're going to get that are going to make that difference to your career. We want to make sure that you get the sergeant stripes. That's what we're after. Make sense? Awesome. Let's dive in. Oh, but before we do, you might be thinking, who is this person? Why should I trust them to give me the sort of advice that I'm looking for? My name is Brendan from Blue Light, and over the past 31 years, I've been supporting people just like you to succeed in the police promotion process, in specialist interviews, police recruitment process. I was a serving police officer for 3 decades in 3 different forces, plus an attachment to what's now called the College of Policing. I used to and still geek out on stuff like this. Yes, the CVF. I've got experience in personnel evaluation standards, got the academic qualifications, and I've been putting it all into good use to support you to make sense of that wheel of confusion and ace promotion boards. So shall we dive in? Shall we dive in with the first one, public service? The first question, or I don't know what order it's going to go in, but the first question I'm going to address is public service. So, the way I've done this, by the way, is I've taken a CVF, I've mapped all of the behaviours against the competencies and values you're going to get assessed against the Police Service of Northern Ireland vision. So things like community engagement, hallmarks of neighbourhood policing, community-focused approach, serious and organised crime strategy, and a crime prevention strategy also. So I've taken all of those strategies, mapped them out against the level 2 qualifiers behaviours within the competencies, and also the behaviours that are in the values, which of course don't have any levels. I know why. I don't know. Oh, also, why we're using the 2016 version, not the 2024 version, I have no idea. Police Service of Northern Ireland, that's their call. They've decided they're going to use the 2016 version, whereas for the recruitment process they're going through at the moment, they're using the 2024 version. It's not massive changes in the competencies, but there are big changes in the values. So that could be a bit confusing. So I'm going to undo that confusion for you. All right, dive in. Public service. I believe the question you're going to get is something along the lines of, please can you tell me about how a time when you've adapted your approach or style of leadership to meet the needs and concerns of communities. So tell me about a time in the past when you've adapted your approach or style of leadership to meet the needs and concerns of communities. Now, you might be in a specialist role and you're thinking, I can't answer that one. Think about your role. If your role doesn't connect somehow, some way with the safety and crime-free environment for the communities that you're serving, then why are you doing what you're doing? So it might be a bit of a tenuous link, but you've got to create the link. Easier question to answer, forward-facing question. How in the future as a sergeant will you adapt your approach or style of leadership to meet the needs and concerns of communities? So there you go, there's the public service. We are collaborative. How in the past have you developed partnerships or a collaborative approach with outside agencies or individuals or groups within communities? So how in the past have you developed a partnership or collaborative approach with outside agencies or members of the community or groups within the community? Similarly, we can spin that around into a forward-facing question. So how in the future as a sergeant will you enable a collaborative approach, a partnership approach with outside agencies or individuals and groups within communities? So there's the second question. You're now 10 minutes in. Just 10 minutes in, and there's only 10 minutes more now that's going to make the difference between you getting promoted to sergeant. There you go. I know it's not PSNI ones. That's my old one. That was Constable 8001, Sergeant 8001, and then Inspector 8001 in Great Manchester Police. And in Cheshire, and in Bermuda, but not with that collar number. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Oh, by the way, in case you're thinking, surely there's got to be more to the advice that Brendan's giving. Yes, there absolutely is. We have an academy program for people who want to go for promotion, where we actually work with you on small group webinars, one-to-ones. You get all the recordings of the webinars, a ton of online material for you to work, developing your knowledge and understanding. We help you plan, prepare, and practice, so that we get you to the point where you're at peak performance on the day of your board, and we actually guarantee the result. So yeah, we do. We seriously, we do. If you don't pass, there's a refund coming your way. That's how committed we are to your success. That's how confident we are in what we do. And why can we afford to do that? You know, it seems like a crazy business thing to do, but not when like 90 to 95% of all your clients pass. It's a no-brainer. It just works both ways. Anyway, if you'd like to find out more about that, check the link below. Complete a form, jump on a call with us. It's about 45 minutes to an hour long. We'll look at where you are now, where do you want to be, what you're struggling with, what can we do to help you. And if we feel as though you're a good fit for the academy, and importantly, if you feel as though we are a good fit for you, then we'll invite you to join the academy program. And I'll see you on one of my weekly webinars, one of the Ask Brendan Anything promotion webinars, where I get to hang out with you, have a fireside chat about all the struggles you might be having, see what I can do to put that 31 years of experience to good use and to help you with those struggles. Alrighty, ready to dive into the rest of the questions. Deliver, support, and inspire. This one really throws people. Like DSI always throws people, whereas it needn't, because it's just going to be about performance. I believe it will be about performance, but performance improvement. So what have you done in the past to develop your own performance or enable the performance of others? And you might be thinking, well, I've only been a constable. You know, how can I enable the performance of others? Well, you're a senior constable on the team. You should be taking some responsibility for helping to support the performance of your colleagues. And don't think of performance as just, you know, a 21% reduction in antisocial behaviour. Or we want to hear more than that. We want to hear more than that, something that has meaning to the communities of Northern Ireland, or if you're watching this, any other part of the country, any other part of the UK or the world. Because if you're just measuring performance in terms of percentages, members of the community don't get that, you know, especially as sometimes things just don't seem different to them. And you're talking about there's been a 20-something% reduction in something, and they're going, it's not changed. Actually, it's worse. So the forward-facing question version of this is, how in the future, as a sergeant, will you enable a culture of performance? So it's quite a deep question, that one. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just like ticking the boxes, making sure that everyone does 5 stop and searches a week or whatever it might be. That's all easy to do. I mean, seriously, it's easy to do. You just bash people over the head with a carrot-shaped stick and eventually they'll do it. But is it truly the performance culture that the service wants? Nah. Is it what you joined to do? No, I don't think so. Is it what they joined to do? No, I don't think so. And that's why I think this is a tough question. And this is why I think they'll ask it, because it links in so well with, especially crime prevention. So the causes and drivers of crime, I think that links in beautifully with a performance answer. All right, last one, integrity. This one is one that's so popular across forces right across the United Kingdom, with good reason, because there's not a day that goes by where we don't see some scandal in the press about a police officer being dismissed for gross misconduct or being sent to prison, rightly so, for acts of criminal acts or behaviour which you just think, what is that all about? And invariably we find that there's a backstory to it, and the behaviour, there was indicators of that behaviour that go back years. So what are we doing to ensure that that sort of behaviour is challenged? So how in the past have you challenged inappropriate behaviour? How in the future will you enable a culture where your constables feel comfortable in challenging, questioning and reporting inappropriate behaviour? So again, rear-facing, forward-facing. I would expect a really good answer off you here, not just to talk about what the Code of Ethics requires of you or what your force policy requires of you, but also looking at the complexity of what comes after. I mean, it's not just as simple as someone challenging behaviour, questioning behaviour, reporting the behaviour and thinking that everyone's going to hold hands, hug a tree and sing Kumbaya. It doesn't work like that. I've been there. I've challenged the inappropriate behaviour. I've challenged criminal behaviour. I've had teams split up as a result of one set believing that the officer did no wrong, the other set believing that the officer did wrong. Actually, the officer concerned eventually went to prison. And there were still one or two individuals saying that was so unfair. And they went to prison for perverting the course of justice, and rightly so. But it's the complexity of what comes after that challenge that I would want to hear about if I was an assessor. And that's what we go deep into with the Academy programme. We don't just look at the sort of surface level answers where you'd be talking about policy. They don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about what value are you going to add when they give you these and they're not Velcroed on anymore. They're sewn on. When you've got these stripes and they're sewn on, what value are you going to add to the police service of Northern Ireland? Or if you're watching this from any other force, for the force that you're going for promotion in. It's the first step on the management ladder. Might be your last step, might be your first step. Doesn't really matter. It's a sergeant's battle out there, if you excuse the phrase. Without good sergeants who are leading their officers to do the right thing in the right way and meet the vision of the Chief Constable in the communities of the force that you work with, for, you are a part of, nothing happens. Doesn't matter what the Chief Constable thinks. Doesn't matter what your Chief Superintendent wants to happen. Doesn't matter what your inspector wants you to do. If you don't engage in that, or if you don't follow their requirements, nothing really is going to happen to you. You're going to find a way to do it, because the thing is, inspectors and above, they might be in charge, but they're not in control. This is why it's so risk critical that the force gets the right people, because these are the people who are in charge and in control. Seriously, really believe in that. Anyway, hope you found this useful. If you'd like to know more about our Academy programme, check the link below. If you've got any questions, post them in the comments. No matter what you are watching this on, we'll answer those questions or answer your comments gladly. And we'll look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye-bye for now.